Hi, my name is Margaret and welcome to my artsy corner of the internet. Today we are going to react to J-Hope's Chicken Noodle Soup.
See, I even dressed for the occasion.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. Hang on. Chicken Noodle Soup. So, yes. I don't know how much longer I can balance this on my head. Maybe I'll just hold it. It's like my emotional support soup can.
I know, we're gonna watch your grandfather perform. Okay. Oh. Yes. Go off in a sketchy alleyway. Ooh. Soda. Mm. Sorry. Ooh. They better be careful with those cars. Ooh. I like this guy in the vest. He's cool. Ah, a gentleman. You should be like that when you grow up. Oh. I didn't even watch the dancing. Why was there a truck falling from the sky? Okay. Sorry, I can't get over the truck. Okay. Just hair flips. Oh, oh, oh. I like seeing how different their styles are, like right next to each other. Oh, not good here. It's a chicken. Oh, I didn't notice the car was a chicken. That's great. Oh, sorry. Don't watch. Oh, wait, no. You're the one who's... Never mind. Where are they? That's what I want to know. Oh, they all look like they don't like me. Oh, yes. Oh, 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 oh. Yes, let's get it. There's so many people. The car in the background. And I want to be one of the cars. Can I apply for that? Yes, chicken. Yes. Oh, I like how they credit the dancers. That's always nice when they give the dancers credit because they were killing it. So I'll see who. Get it. Yes, dance break. Chicken noodle soup with soda on the side. Chicken noodle soup with soda on the side.
I feel like I was talking when I was watching through that, but I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, first thing first. Do people really eat chicken noodle soup with a soda? Wait, I don't think I've ever had soup and soda. But I mean, like, it's very possible that I'm the weird one here. So, like, I feel like because it is a music video, it's more about like the cinematography and the costumes and the stuff. And so it was kind of hard to like take in everything plus the dancing. So we're gonna watch it again, just a little bit. Yeah, okay. This first opening scene, first of all, I really like it. Just like like the camera angle setting us up in like this kind of like funky setting, and then having people kind of be small. It feels very much like at recess with your friends dancing, you know? Like it's very like, it doesn't matter where we are, but like we're together and we're dancing, which is cute and I like it. That is just one of those moves that I watch and I'm like, they look so cool. But if I tried to do it, I'd look like one of those like little toys that you used to put in the bath when you were a baby, and like you pull the little string and then the little flippers go like this and then the little like duck swims around. Do you all know what I'm talking about? And they're just sitting there like this. That's what I would look like. Basically, I want to know how they look cool when they do that move because it looks really cool. But I just know that if I tried to do it, it wouldn't look that cool. And I want to look cool too. Now, what I want to know is that a real stunt driver? Did somebody really drive a car that clip? I would have screamed. Like that'd be scary. Like how do you not flinch if a car is driving straight at you, you know? I mean, I'm assuming they also didn't like drop a car from the sky later, so like, but like that looks like a real car. Oh, I'm just saying. I feel like one of the things that I noticed, like especially in this first part, is he gets very like low. He's very good at like dropping his weight, getting into the earth, the ground, the ether, the soil. That's kind of like a main characteristic of like hip hop, is it's a little bit more like low, like you got the bent knees, you're feeling the ground, where in other aesthetics, more like early modern dance and ballet, it's like to the sky, and obviously you have to touch the ground because like we have not figured out how to levitate yet, but it's all about like being up, and hip hop is a little bit more about being low and like grounded. But he doesn't actually let his weight go down. Like he's grounded, but he also has like his weight is on like the tips of his toes so that he can bounce and shift his weight really quickly. Because if you like put all of your weight into like the heels of your feet, you can't like, you know, you just kind of like, if that makes sense. Which I think it's actually really interesting because in hip hop you are aesthetically lower to the ground, but you still have to keep weight in your toes to be like bouncy and like agile and like, what's the word? Like when when people guard each other in basketball. I've never actually watched a basketball game all the way through, but you know, when they're like, oh, you know, that's like what like kind of like the aesthetic of hip hop is kind of like. But then in ballet, you want to be like up and like it's not low, it's up, but you have to push into the ground. I don't know if this is making sense, but I think it's interesting how in order to look like you're really low, you still have to have some of your weight be up so you can move. And if you want to look like you're up, you still have to push down into the ground so that you can go up. So it's like, even if it's aesthetically up or down, you still have to use the counterpoint in order to do that. Some days you have days where you're better at communicating your ideas than other days, and this is just one of those days that I cannot communicate my ideas, so sorry about that. Okay, I feel like this is one of those dances that I love and it looks really fun to do, but I just know that if I tried to do it, I would look so stupid. And I think one of the things is, and I kind of talked about that in like the very opening scene, but I think that there's a very like loose, like relaxation of this whole piece that really works in all of these dancers' favor because they're moving fast and it's not like sloppy, but it's very like loose. which I think kind of goes for the vibe of like hang out with your friends and just like chilling and relaxing and like having a good time together. So I feel like even like his like little chicken walk, like if you try to go like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you're gonna look well like that. But like if you're like a little bit more groovy with it, it'll look better. But it's very groovy. Maybe that's just what I mean to say. But it works really well, I think, because I think J-Hope, from what I've seen of him, he seems to have like a very flowy, and not flowy like but like flowy like articulate. He has a very like loose and articulate, which is, it kind of seems like it's like a juxtaposition because he's very loose, but he's loose because he's so meticulously whoa, I can't say those two words together. Articulate. Is that articulate? Do you ever say a word and it just sounds wrong? Articulate. We're just gonna continue. See, it's like even when he's just doing like hand motions, he's very good at letting it just kind of fling, drip, roll off his body. Like every part of his body is moving at every second. And some of them are like slow, suspended movements, and some of them are quick and some of them are sharp, but like everything is moving at once. It's like a slinky. You know, like you're moving around the slinky, but like everything's moving. There's not like a part of it that isn't moving. I think another thing is, and this might be a little bit more accurate of a description, but like everything seems to be coming straight from like his center, his core, and kind of like radiating out from there. And I think that's how he kind of gets that feeling of like articulating everything in his body, and it's very groovy because it like starts at like his belly button and then will like flow outwards into like the invisible lines of energy that come out of your fingers. So if like you start a body roll up or something and you body roll from the center, he knows how to hit every line in there, and then he's like slowly letting all of those things like shoot out from the center of his body. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just like imagining like a little ball of energy right here, and then it's just like radiating outwards and like slowly like filling and like a sunburst or something. I've seen like a sunburst, like the images of the sun, or a solar flare is, I think that might be the word, and it like kind of like explodes off the side of the sun, and then it's like these like kind of twirling appendages, I guess, of the sun. That's kind of like what it feels like. It feels like there's like a solar flare that's then rippling through and energizing, and his legs and arms and head are like those like curly cues of gas coming off the sun. That's kind of how it feels to me, but yet it's so like cool and effortless. I think another thing that's impressive is how quick and sharp he can be, because being sharp and ending a movement sharply is difficult, but then I can end sharply, but doing, I think, like really fast, like the faster you try to be sharp, the harder it gets, because you're all of a sudden like ticking quicker and quicker and quicker. And so I think there's like this really cool juxtaposition constantly of that like solar flare, curly cue, everything is connected and rolling and articulating together, but then at the same time he has enough control to like completely contain all of the movement in like an instant and then continue. Have you ever had like a glitch? Sometimes my computer screen will just like randomly like black out and then like come back like a second later. Or like sometimes it happens with TV where like the signal will go out for like a second and then it's like right back. That's almost like what it feels like. Like you're watching like a really curly cue and then it just like turns off and then it comes back like half a second later. I want to know like how he did it, like how he learned it. Like does he still have to think about all the muscles when he has them stop? Or is it kind of like second nature that now he just like knows how to stop that quickly? I don't know. I'm fascinated by people who can like do like ticking and strobing, I think those might be the same thing, and like popping, like the idea of like contracting and releasing a muscle so quickly that it like makes like a pop is just like, my muscles, stupid muscles. Like that little move, like I can't do that, but like I don't know if Becky G is like a dancer. Like I don't know if she's a trained dancer, but I think it's really interesting to see her and J-Hope. I also love the dancers in the background. Like the dancers are killing it, like the backup dancers. I think something that also is really interesting with J-Hope is he goes so full out, but it never looks like he's doing too much. But like when you watch him, you're like, you're doing a lot. But then like you watch him and you're like, but like you're not doing too much. I feel like one of the tendencies when you're doing hip hop and like me, we like over dance. There's too much energy. There's too much tension or too much flow, like a floppiness. There's too much happening, and it makes the dance look awkward because you're like, whoa, please calm down. I'm saying that to myself. And when you watch J-Hope, you're like, okay, that's a lot, but it works. And I think there's something about kind of like the coolness and like the easiness of him being cool. He's going ham, but he also has that like fluid, almost, I don't want to say floppy, but I want to say floppy because it's not like, it's intensity, but it's not over intensity. So like floppy kind of feels like a little bit relaxed, and it's not really smooth. It's just kind of like maybe jiggly. Anyway, some kind of texture like that, where he's kind of like sitting into like the back of the beat of the music and kind of riding like the back of his movement as well. So it kind of feels like I'm a little too cool to be ahead of the music, but I'm still, I don't know. It's like the effort of, he looks like he's not trying, but he's clearly going 110%. He's a very juxtaposed dancer, playing with those fluctuations between extreme intensity and chillness. I also I like seeing the juxtaposition of them. Juxtaposition is apparently the word of the day. I like seeing Becky G and J-Hope do the same steps like right next to each other, because they both have very strong movements, but they have it in such a different way. As I kind of said, like J-Hope, it feels like everything is articulating from the center. Like he has something in the center and everything is just like millions of joints going outwards. Becky G finds strength, I think, in structure, not so much movement. Like if you watch J-Hope, every part of him is moving at every moment. Becky G, when you watch her, not everything is moving. When she does that, I think you can kind of see it because, she has so many, like you have so many joints from your shoulders to your fingers, and J-Hope's like, I'm gonna use every single one of them and maybe invent a few more joints somewhere. Becky G, she has like these points and then kind of goes into this, but she's really only moving like her shoulder joint. Interesting to see how she finds strength in like, I have all these joints and I don't know, I don't know what her hands are doing, but like she's finding strength in the structure of this, like almost like the architecture of her arms, and showing you the same position in variations. But it also doesn't feel like super stiff. But watching them next to each other is so cool. I actually like it so much more seeing them both next to each other and seeing how different their styles are. I also think, and this might also be part of it, is Becky G's in like very tight, like kind of revealing clothes, and J-Hope's in like many layers and very baggy. And I think that accentuates the way that they naturally move. And I don't know if that was like intentional, because sometimes when you're like a very loose, like wibbly wobbly dancer, it's fun to wear clothes, or if like you're doing choreography that's like very blah, 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 you like doing like baggier clothes, so they kind of like will like trail after you and add to the dance. Whereas if you're doing like more structured, like architectural dance, you want to wear like tighter clothes so that it emphasizes like the structure. So I think it's kind of interesting how their costumes also kind of emulate how they move. And I don't know if it's like a chicken or the egg, you know, like, oh, I'm in like a very structured costume, I feel more comfortable not being jiggly, or like I'm in a very jiggly costume, I want to jiggle. Or if like they saw their different movement styles and decided to like capitalize that into how their costumes were made. I just like seeing how differently they interpret. And that's another thing, like if you ever go to like a hip hop class, like don't be scared about like what your own personal style is, because it's not going to be like other people's. But at the same time, you can do the same dance and have like be cool and like look cool and interesting with your own personal style. And like it's fun to put on other people's styles and like see what you like and learn different styles and try to be as versatile as possible. But like if you don't have to like hide yourself in fear of like, I can't let me come out in my dancing because then I won't look like this person, and this person's really good at dancing, so I want to be like them. But then you're gonna hurt yourself by like dimming your own light, when you should find what's unique about you and put that at the forefront, and then use other people's styles to help bolster yourself up. But like they both look really cool when they do the dance, even though they do it completely differently. And same with every single person in the background, like all of their backup dancers as well. They all have these like special little things that they're doing that make them stand out. And they don't have to like tone down themselves to fit in the music video. Like they're all there, they all look great together, and it's because they're capitalizing on what they do best. But whoa, wait, I missed that. Where did he come from? A lot of times in video, there's like this set of video and then they do a cut and it comes to this kind of video. But then there's things like this where it looks like they magically made J-Hope pop up out of nowhere, but what they did is they zoom in on Becky G, J-Hope like crawls around, and then they zoom back out and he's magically there. So it's kind of fun to see that, because there is like this whole choreography happening that we don't see because it's the choreography of the camera and what the camera sees versus what they want it to see, and how are we going to get dancers and make this look like this magical transition. So I think that's also very fun. She's very clean. Maybe that's the word that I'm looking for. She like knows where her lines are and she like hits them, which is really, it's cool. I like it. It's like a really unique style. Let's go. I think one of the things there is it doesn't look like he's doing a lot with his chest, but then you realize that everything is coming from that center and just radiating out, even like the little hands that he does. Also, I like hands. Look at the attention that he's putting into his hands. This is so much different than this, than this, than this, than this, than this. His shoulders are also crazy. Look at, okay, that part. First of all, his shoulders are crazy. I think I talked about this in the last video that I did. The Butter remix one. He uses his shoulders so much, but it never looks like I'm tense and scared for my life. It looks like very like chill, but his shoulders he uses really, really well. But also, look at how high his knee gets up and how low his chest comes. I took an African dance class last semester, and it's something that they talk about a lot. Even though like the emphasis of the beat is down, and you might be jumping and your chest is coming down, your knee still has to go up as high as possible. So it's like your chest and your knee are coming together and meeting in the middle. So your knee is coming to your head, but it's not necessarily because like I'm upright and I'm like just like bringing my knee up here. But it's also not like I'm upright and then I'm going down and touching my toes. It's like they meet in the middle. And that's actually, I don't know if you're able to do it faster. You should be able to like do it faster, I guess, because it's like both body parts are traveling half the distance, not one traveling the full distance. It takes a lot too to like get your knee up that high that quick. Hip hop is like a derivative that comes from African dance, like African dance, and then it came to America, and then it kind of like what's the word? Like it's like in the genealogy. Hip hop is in the genealogy of African dance. So there's parts and elements of it, and I think that that is one of the interesting things I learned from African dance that I think is very applicable to like hip hop styles. Even though you're low to the ground and you get your chest down, like your knee still has to come up. It's kind of like what I was talking about at the very beginning. Like to go up, you have to go down, and to go down, you have to go up. Also, everybody looks really good when they're doing the dance, obviously. But like if you just pause and you see all of like the different little variations of the same step, you can see how different all of them are like embodying it. Which works for this. Obviously there are some dances where you have to be like so clean and everybody looks the exact same. But in a dance like this, it's obviously just like about like being yourself and chilling and dancing. It's fun to see how everybody's interpreting the same movements but making them so vastly different. I love everybody who was in this video. They're all so impressive. There's so many different personalities, talents, skill sets, and yet they all come together to make a really cool dance. But like each one of them are so individually and uniquely cool. And I think that's really cool. And if that was the message of the dance, then I got it. If it wasn't the message of the dance, then oops. I thoroughly enjoyed that though. That was really fun. I feel like my words were not really coming out great today. Kind of a hectic week, but thank you guys so much for joining me and having just like a little break where we can talk about dance and have a good time. Say goodbye to your friends, Ginny, the soup can. Bye.